Today was more about optics and getting in the logistics, the initial atmospheric. So that was also very important. The Iranians did not want to be photographed with the Americans, and that is understandable. They seemed a bit uptight during the discussions, but then they all got together in the meeting place, or it's been going on for some hours now with some breaks in between. So the issue was to start the talks today. So that dominated today. Regarding the outcome, I think, except Lebanon, with some ifs and buts, they'll be able to come to agreements, but it'll be a very turbulent 60 days or 90 days or 30 days, God knows. Today's discussions have started. Lebanon is hanging there, and the Iranians were not expected. I think they had already made it clear that they were not expected to have a photograph taken of the inauguration or in the inauguration, because obviously they've lost a lot of civilians embracing the or at least or shaking hands with the Americans. But the talks, I think they've started, and in spite of this, in spite of the Iranians not joining the inauguration, I think the talks will continue, but Lebanon will hang. And other than that, I think eventually the speed with which the sanctions are lifted and the funds are unfrozen, they'll be very important. So as you see, Trump is talking about Hezbollah and Lebanon and proxies. The Iranians think differently about these things. So I think he's trying to again do the wrong thing by balancing out Israel's aggression by mentioning Hezbollah. I think Iran is going to play hardball as far as Lebanon is concerned. And maybe President Trump just wants to give the impression of being tough, whereas Vice President Vance and the delegation will probably try to have an agreement. But the problem with Lebanon is that it's a very difficult thing. Why? Because when they'll talk about a ceasefire, Iran will say you withdraw, and when Israel will be asked to withdraw, it will talk about Hezbollah. So who does this first? Who blinks first? Hezbollah is not just a proxy. Hezbollah and Hamas were results of extreme atrocities by Israel. So it's a mixed bag. They were not just. I'm afraid I don't know why in Pakistan everybody has started. Our mainstream media starts calling them proxies, although proxies is a U.S. Israeli version of the thing. There was no Hezbollah before, I think, 1982, and there was no Hamas before the Palestinian government became ineffective and Gaza became a ghetto. Then imagine what it is now. So I think the U.S. If the U.S. thinks that it can browbeat Iran or talk tough, I don't think they'll be successful. I think that was what our interior minister told the Iranians, that don't fall into Israel's trap of not coming to the negotiations. That's what they want. They want talks to be scuttled, for you to be labeled as intransigent. So I think he was effective, and Pakistan was effective, and Qatar too, in getting them there. But it all depends on how tough the US can get with Israel. When they say that, when they make these loud noises, it's not important. That one telephone call asking Israel to just stop its aggression in South Lebanon, that would have to be made. And I don't think that has been made till now. Yes, I think he would, and I think he would be well advised now. He's been doing this tweeting and everything. There were reports today that after his tweet, the Iranians they simply raised their hands, but then again they were asked to continue the discussions. Now everything else is inside the resort, so one doesn't have access to it. But I think it's time for the U.S. side to be serious. And I mean, President Trump. I think the rest of the delegation is pretty serious. President Trump needs to get serious, and this pleasing a domestic audience by making false claims. This can backfire too. The more the talks will continue, the more they will not reach conclusions. Negativities will come in. There'll be domestic negativities. There'll be mischief mongers, and anything can go wrong. There could be a plan B for aggression into Iran. There could be a secret boots on the ground thing, although it seems impossible. But if the talks continue and there is no result, then it can lead to any sort of negative consequences. Yeah, I think Pakistan will be there. I don't know at what level, but I feel Pakistan will be there. Maybe official, maybe some. All ministers can't be there. It's too huge a delegation right now. This is we overdo things. So somebody will be there. I hope that it's those people who brought the two sides to this level, that some of them are there. Of course, the field marshal can't be there perpetually for 60 days, neither can the prime minister, uh, nor I guess could be the foreign minister. So I think they'll probably take turns, go in, come out, and do things like that. I think it's working, and Iran is using the strategy, but I think the strait is open. Iran is probably just saying this to warn that it could close the straits. Now, Iran also, it doesn't look nice that after every 3 4 hours they announce the closure and then they open it. So I hope all sides step back a little, talk less to the external media and other people, and get down to the task. Now is the difficult part of the negotiation, in which the more traditional style of negotiations, that is sitting in the room comparing notes. I think there are multiple member teams of all sides. So I think they should also adopt the traditional style of diplomacy, that is held under closed doors and very little is revealed outside, instead of making loud noises. It would not be a deal for all times or perpetual peace or something magnificent. But yes, I'm very hopeful that they will come to conclusions on all the 7 8 points. They will come to conclusions. Maybe they'll leave Lebanon out. Maybe they'll sign quasi agreements about other things. For it to be a peace in our times, for a new Middle East, as people are talking about, it would also depend on the lateral elements. That is, what do Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Pakistan, and for that matter, Iran and Qatar want to decide about the new Middle East? How can they really get rid of the U.S. security presence there? I don't think so. I think it will gradually reduce because all of them have excellent bilateral relations with the Americans. So I don't think it will be that great of a deal, but I think agreements, mutually convenient agreements, would be reached. And I think that Pakistan and Qatar's role as a mediator, maybe Saudi Arabia and China too, it will continue. It will take some time before peace is reached. A lot would depend on what happens to Netanyahu in Israel, because their elections take place in October. So that's one variant. Then the midterms in the US. So, but uh, for as far as predictions are concerned, I think they shouldn't prolong these talks too much. I think they should come to quick conclusions where they can, and I hope Iran doesn't continue with its arguing on commas and full stops for days and days. I think it's time to move forward, and it's good. It will be good for Iran. It will be good for the people of Iran. and it will be good for the U.S. There is a theory that the U.S. president would extend it till the midterms and then proclaim a victory. Then I doubt it. I think he's also very stressed out, and he doesn't have this luxury of planning things and monitoring them or taking them long or short. I think he shouldn't do that if he plans to do it, because it will be bad for the U.S. also. It will be bad for President Trump if this keeps on continuing. So, but I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that we'll see a positive end to most of the conflicts. Maybe one or two will remain.